watching.
Subscribe.
Hello, you're watching ScreenStalker. My name is Chopper Pequanell, and this is the combined movie and gaming news. The Moming news? The Gamovie news? We'll come up with a catchy title, I promise. Well, anyway, I'm going to be taking you through the movie news in the first part of the video before El Fakador Laurie Blake takes you through the second part for the gaming news. Some stories today include more details on an Avengers video game and a new Call of Duty. More on those later though, so use the timestamps in the description to skip ahead to the gaming news right now if you want to, or stick around and get your daily dose of me. And movie news, I guess. But before we get into the movie news side of things, press the thumbs up, subscribe, and enable notifications, and leave us a comment answering the question of the day, which today is, what is your favorite Call of Duty title so far? We're kicking things off today with a because the trailer for the Dark Crystal Age of Resistance just dropped, and man, it looks great. The original Dark Crystal, also known as Muppets Take Middle-earth, was released in 1982 and directed by Jim Henson and Frank Oz. Now, Netflix are setting out on their own adventure by making a prequel to the cult classic called The Dark Crystal Age of Resistance. One thing that's immediately noticeable from the trailer is that some practical effects have remained, keeping a very similar vibe and style to the original. Praise has been pouring in for this choice, maintaining a connection to the original that most reboot sequels and prequels struggle to hold on to, even though this will be released 37 years after the original. Kingsman and Rocketman's Taron Egerton will voice the lead role, with Game of Thrones' Natalie Emmanuel also using her vocal talents. If you haven't seen the original Dark Crystal, do yourself a favor and watch it. I mentioned the Muppets Take Middle-earth earlier as a joke, but it's actually quite an accurate description of what goes on. It's dripping with its own lore, so if that's your kind of thing, give it a watch. Something else that I'll definitely be watching, if and when it ever gets made that is a new potential buddy movie pitting two members of the original Avengers alongside each other. Chris Hemsworth, for those who've been living under a rock for the past decade, plays Thor in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and was recently interviewed by Variety. During the interview, he mentioned his great friendship with Chris Evans, who played Captain America, again for those who've been living under a rock for the past decade. During the interview, Hemsworth mentioned how they had to keep he and Evans apart on the press tour because they'd just be goofing around and not staying on topic. What a bunch of lads. This prompted Evans himself to confirm this, saying that them being kept apart was such bullshit, and followed up with, "We had too much fun together, and truly like kids in school, we were separated because we weren't getting done." Then he revealed that he had an idea for the pair of them, which would be one of those 80s buddy comedies where we could shed the characters we're known for. Yes, make that. Please. I will watch it. Please do that. Please and thank you. Please. But now from one pair of MCU alumni to another, as the trailer for Disney Pixar's latest flick has also dropped, and it looks pretty magical. Literally. The title of this new movie is Onward, and it tells the story of a magical land with dragons and unicorns and other such wondrous things, except that all of it has been replaced with technology and planes and bad things like smartphones. Boo convenience. The trailer doesn't actually reveal pretty much anything about the story of the movie itself, only referring to a vague adventure, which one of the characters refutes and calls an errand, but it does display the world very well, with unicorns eating rubbish out of bins, dragons being pets, and the main characters being trolls? Ogres? Some kind of monster type thing. Anyway, Spider-Man himself, Tom Holland, will voice one of the two main characters, being a somewhat shy, timid monster thing, with Star-Lord Chris Pratt joining him as his more boisterous, loud brother. Is it weird that I could picture this dynamic between not only these characters in the film, but between Tom and Chris in real life, and between Spider-Man and Star-Lord too? That's a sign of some good casting right there. While the trailer didn't display a date, only a cometh soon at the end of it, it will be released on June 6, 2020. So, only a year to wait? After the successes of Incredibles 2 and Coco, and Toy Story 4 set to release in less than a month, the current string of Pixar films is some of their best, and they'll be hoping they can keep up the momentum with Onward. Considering many of the Pixar films of late have been connected to older titles, with the exception of Coco, it's nice to see an original movie from the studio, and generally speaking, their original titles are pretty great, hence why there's so many sequels. Regardless, I'm very much looking forward to Onward, although that might be because Tom Holland and Chris Pratt are two of my favorite actors on the planet. But that's all for the movie news section of the video today. I shall now take my leave and hand it over to El Fakador Laurie Blake for the gaming news.
Well, thanks for the movie news, Chopper. It's now time to hop up out of the cinema seat, brush off the popcorn dust, and sit back down on the sofa with a controller in hand for some gaming time. And fans of Apex Legends are in for a treat, finally, because overall Season 1 of the game has been one long knee slide into Dullsville. But Respawn Entertainment are looking to freshen things up a little for Season 2, and have released a little info and even teased more about the upcoming revamp of the title. Now, the headline feature is that the time to progress through the ranks to level 100 will be boosted thanks to daily and weekly challenges, which is good news because progress through Season 1 was more torturous than being shut in a cupboard full of caustic gas or listening to Marshmallow in Fortnite. Basically, there was more grinding in Season 1 than a walkabout on Friday night. Respawn said, while we don't want to introduce wacky challenges that drastically warp the way you play the game, these challenges should provide some interesting variation from game to game. Now, there's also going to be skins and other rewards combating the criticism of there being no real reward for the grinding. Kind of like one of those rare sober moments in a walkabout on Friday. What am I doing? Why am I doing this? Why am I here? Get away from me. More info on Season 2 is set to be revealed in EA's Play livestream on June the 8th. But before that info actually drops, a new event's going to hit the game called the Legendary Hunt on the 4th, bringing with it new rare, epic and legendary skins, which is good news for people who love skins, like Jeffrey Dahmer. While Respawn seem to be nailing their E3 season announcement strategy like a well-coordinated team and not just one with a rogue jumpmaster who just aims for that ship every damn time you play the game. What are you playing at? Who does that? Anyway, Square Enix can't quite keep their carefully plotted PR operation in check, as details about their upcoming title based on Marvel's Avengers have been shared ahead of the big show. Now, the title, which is a collaboration between Crystal Dynamics of Tomb Raider fame and Eidos Montreal of the Deus Ex franchise, had its first details uploaded to the E3 Coliseum website. Naughty, naughty. Funnily enough, the details have since been changed in an attempt to jam that metaphorical cat right back into the bag and then fling it off a bridge in the hope that no one notices. Sadly, we've all got an internet, so that is impossible. The description read, "This is the defining Avengers gaming experience, an epic action-adventure that combines cinematic storytelling with continuous single-player and cooperative gameplay. Moderated by Andrea Renee, assemble in teams of up to 4 players, master extraordinary abilities, customize your heroes to fit your playstyle, and combine powers to defend an ever-expanding world under constant threat." So it sounds like it could be very similar to Marvel Ultimate Alliance, but with a bit more of a focus on cinematic storytelling and probably glossier, more realistic graphics. But we don't actually have to wait all that long to find out because the panel is on June the 11th. But this is the big reveal of the last 24 odd hours, Call of Duty. Because after Infinity Ward screwed the pooch with Call of Duty Ghosts and Infinite Warfare's zero gravity didn't exactly keep players grounded, it was time to go back to what you know works. World War II! Oh, we've done that already. Modern Warfare then. Because bucket hats and tashes are back in, lads, very 2019, because Captain Price, who looks like my dad and also a hipster, is back. And he's brought a team of friends along for the ride too. Now, the game, which is simply titled Call of Duty Modern Warfare, which is actually rather confusing because it's the 4th Modern Warfare game, but the original Modern Warfare game was the 4th Call of Duty game. Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, whereas this is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4, but they've dropped the 4 to have it just be Modern Warfare. I'm baffled. Anyway, it's launching on October 5th, and it's set to bring with it a load of quality of life updates too. For one thing, it's ditching the season pass model, delivering free maps, content, and post-launch events to all players. It's also going to have cross-play support between PC and consoles, so you too can know the joys of aimbots on PS4 and Xbox One. Yay, brilliant. PC bastards. and it's said to have an immersive narrative experience that spans the single-player campaign, the co-op operations, and competitive multiplayer. But what that actually means, I don't know. Probably just that Captain Price is there, smoking a cigar, because while the warfare may be modern, he's not taking up vaping yet. One thing missing from the announcements, though, was a Battle Royale mode. But how will you get the kids on board with this gritty military shooter, Activision? And it's weird, because considering the success of Blackout, you would imagine that one would be in the works, unless Blackout is now meant to live on its own and be the Battle Royale version of Call of Duty going forward, while Modern Warfare is meant to be the more traditional entry in the Call of Duty franchise and take that forward. It'll also be interesting to see if Infinity Ward finally returning to the era and the narrative branch that managed to revamp the Call of Duty series way back in 2007 can capture that lightning in the bottle again, because when I was at university, I thought Call of Duty Modern Warfare was the best damn thing ever. And Activision have to be hoping that lightning in a bottle also means money in a jar, especially considering that Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 was the biggest entertainment release of all time back in 2010 when it launched. Since been usurped a few times, mostly by Rockstar Games. The thing is, though, that Call of Duty is pretty much always sold well, but then there's and there's like $500 million in 24 hours like Black Ops 2 did. So let's hope Modern Warfare is that, but more importantly, let's hope it has a ghillie suit mission, because that's the best. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to click the like and subscribe buttons if you enjoyed the video, and tap the bell icon too so you're notified when our videos go live. We've got great stuff each and every day here at ScreenStalker, like myself and Chopper discussing the recently announced Pokemon Sleep and trying to work out what the heck is it? I've been Laurie Blake, and remember, we're watching.